Yeah, welcome to my channel. I did say that, well, let's put it this way. We know the Mets are not going to make the playoffs this year. There's no way that's happening. I did mention way back, just before the All-Star break for sure. I know I did put one of those videos where when I knew the Mets season was over, that hoping for a miracle at least. But anyways, a miracle was never going to happen. But in any situation, asking for the fact that the Mets could finish 500 this season, that would be a win in my part. Well, not a win from the perspective of what everyone expects them based on what their lineup was at that point. But from my perspective, the way they were playing, I was like, all right, they're not going to make the playoffs. They can make 500, that'd be great. If they make the wild cards, hey, even better. But realistically speaking, we knew that was going to be hard once trade deadline came and passed. And seeing how the Mets are well below the 439 right now, for them to go 500 as of now. I mean, it seemed like the likelihood was there was a possibility based on how they started off after the trade season. They've gone 7-3 in their last 10 games. I mean, if they'd taken the Braves, when they won the first game against the Braves, I'm like, all right, it's a possibility. They'd taken that second one of the, taking that series 2 out of 3. There was a possibility. Now the question is, can they beat the Nats? I mean, they beat them today. If they could sweep them, then it's a possibility. Now, realistically speaking, it can be done, but the Mets have to go 27-12. That's it's. Do we see that realistically happening? No. I want to say possibly. I mean, things can happen, but realistically, it's not. I mean, the only way this happens is I have it listed out here, so I apologize because I'm gonna have to read it off a little bit because I did do a little math there. Um, it's basically to the point where for them to go uh 27-12, considering, I mean, since the All-Star break they went 14-12. Had they gone a little bit better, that would have been great. But let's see, 39, they do have 39 games remaining at this point. And now, of the 39 games remaining, 25 are against teams that are currently above 500, which is San Diego, the White Sox, Milwaukee, Houston, Tampa Bay, Miami, the Yankees, Philadelphia, and Tampa Bay. Now, if it's going to be very difficult for the Mets, because like the way that has to happen is the Mets have to win each of those series, not get swept, but if they could sweep, great. But if they take 2 or 3 out of 1, that'd be great from that perspective. So the next 2 games against Washington, they have to win them both. Basically, they have to sweep the Nats. With San Diego coming up after them, um, they have to win 2 out of 2. Take 2 out of 3 basically from them, and especially with the White Sox as well too. So basically, you have the Padres, White Sox, Brewers, Astros, Tampa Bay. Basically, in each of those games, realistically, they have to win. I mean, not realistically, but they have to take 2 out of 3 from those games. After that, they go against Tampa Bay. Now, can they go get 2 out of 3 from that? Possible. It's highly unlikely. So if they get realistically, they'll probably maybe get 1 game at best. So 1 out of 3, at least not getting something is pretty decent. Then against going against San Francisco Giants. I mean, San Francisco, yeah, the San Francisco Giants. They should sweep them. I mean, they should be able to sweep them because like the Mets are better than the Rockies and the Giants, so they should be able to sweep the Giants in this situation. Then of course they go against Miami. The Marlins themselves, if they go 2 out of 1, great, but preferably they sweep the Marlins because the way the Marlins are playing, they should be able to sweep them. After that, they go against the Yankees. Now, them and the way the Yankees are playing right now, I don't think the Mets can actually take the series, but if they get 1 game out of them, that'd be great. Now, against Baltimore, that's a legitimate shot. They should be able to get at least 2 out of 3 from them, basically. And then, of course, with Philadelphia, you got 4 games against them, basically. And that 4 game series, either the Mets, it can't be 2-2. They have to either go 3-1 or sweep the Phillies. And can that happen? It's possible. It is possible because like the Phillies at that point, they probably have already clinched, and they'll probably kind of start playing their rookies at that point. Bring some kids from the minors, so it's possible. And then, of course, they go against the Rangers. If the Rangers have already clinched at that point as well, too, possibility is that the Mets could get 2 out of 3 from them. And of course, finale series is against the Nats. Sweep them. If they sweep them, then the possibility is that they could get they could have won 27 out of the 12 games at that point. Now, for them, they have to basically win 11 of their 13 out of the 13 remaining series. Basically, if they can do that, I think it would be a win in apart from not Stearns or Cohen's perspective, but as a Mets fan, I think that would be a win it's in and of itself. Now, of course, the next 10 games are going to be the biggest things, of course, at this point, where like it's going to be the most important barometer to tell how they go because after Washington, then the Padres, and then the White Sox, if they can beat the Padres, White Sox, and get the first two out of Milwaukee, then we'll see most likely in that situation that the Mets should be realistically be able to then at that point give us hope for 500 ball. At that point, now, of course, for some of the things that have to change, one of them, of course, is the offense. It just can't disappear. I mean, honestly, it's been non-existent here and there. It just comes in spurts, which Mendoza was never able to resolve. I don't know who can at this point. Like I said, I think the Mets need JD Martinez back. If they can get him, that'd be great. As a hitting instructor, that'd be good because I think he would be that person to help the Mets loosen up a little bit. Then, of course, the starting rotation. Everyone's starting to find their own, but they've got to become above par, go beyond what they're expected of. And of course, beat the teams that they're supposed to beat or sweep them. At the same time, hold their own against some of the big major contenders at that point. But looking at the actual odds, this is where I had to look at it again at this point. The Mets being 439, 27 of the last 27. They have to win 27 of the last 39. Next 39. That's about 0.1% binomial model. So, if for them to do that right now to get 81 wins, statistically speaking, it's 1 to 4 point right now. At this point, 1 to 4 point, 1 to 4%, not 4 point, but 1 to 4% as they're now. As games progress, and if the Mets are doing really well, that should go up. Now, if they go 8-2 in the next 2 games, if they go 8-2 in the next 10 games, that percentage, of course, goes from 1 to 4% to probably, it looks like, to probably about, I would say about most likely 10 to 15% at that point. It's a case where this has definitely been an issue where Stearns has overestimated what he was expecting, while the Mets definitely underperformed. I mean, Bichette has definitely underperformed. Simon has basically underperformed. I mean, I think the only highlights we're seeing right now is Bench and McEwing basically at this point. And reality is McLean is supposed to be doing really well, but he's up and down. He's reminding me a little bit of David Peterson now, unfortunately. I think we got to get some. If we can make some more trades in the offseason for some more minor leaguers, that'll be good and interesting to see at that point. But I think, like I said, realistically speaking, if the Mets can be 500, and if they finish 500, as a Mets fan, I'll take it as a win. I'll take it as a win at that point. Yeah, Cohen's going to be like really disappointed. I mean, like he's supposed to like change the Mets dramatically. The question is, does he have the right people to, basically build this championship team? Because quite honestly, there's an interesting side bit going on here where with the Dodgers and their owner, one of the things in Shohei Ohtani's contract is a stipulation that some of these people, like some of the upper management people, as well as the owner, has to be with the Dodgers. If they're not there, he gets to opt out. If this happens and this dude opts out, well, first off, he loses that massive contract because he deferred a lot of it towards the end of the tail end of his career. Um, I don't know how he can opt out of from that perspective if he loses out on that. But realistically speaking, the way the dude has this much money already, I mean, well, he's gotten definitely a lot of money at this point, but the way other teams would probably bid for him, they'd probably overbid what the Dodgers would give him at this point. Would the Angels come back and try to re-sign him? I don't know. I mean, if I'm Ohtani, I would look at the Yankees. I mean, he's already got 2 World Series. Chances are for a third one right now, the third World Series ring with the Dodgers. But if he goes to New York, he increases his market potential because the Yankees are internationally known compared to the Dodgers. Let's be honest, they are internationally known, well known. Uh, you see, I mean, yes, Otani's got the fandom, but look at Judge. He's got a larger fan base, just as much of a fan base as Otani. Now, you might disagree with that. I'm a Mets fan. I hate that, but Judge has a large, is up there, like almost they're comparable in that situation. So the real question comes down to is if I'm Otani, do I want to go to the Yankees? And if I'm Soto, you have to have a stipulation in there somewhere saying I want to opt out because like you want that ring. I mean, he's already got one ring, yes, with the Nats when he was 19, but I don't know because every player wants that ring, and Soto has that one ring. The question is like you want that immortality at that point as well too. So if I'm Otani, yeah, I would still stick around with the Dodgers. But if you could see things changing dramatically, depending on the ownership change and all that stuff, if they can't keep the players and maintain the players, then I go to the Yankees. Skubal as well too. Like if I'm Skubal at that point too, like after the see how this pans out. But if I'm Skubal, like if I'm Cohen better and Stern better not screw this up. They go after Skubal as best as they possibly can. Now I know Cohen doesn't like to overpay for pitchers over the age of 30, but realistically speaking, at this point, we need Skubal because like we've got no number one starter. We need a number one starter. If we could get him and then we could get Peralta back, I think Peralta, even though he's not the ace that he once was, I think he's enough there to the point where he can be that number 2, number 3 guy at that point. Because we do never definitely need a number 3 guy. McLean's not number 2 at this point. He's not there. I think he needs to develop a little bit more. I think the Mets need a new pitching coach, honestly, to get him to where they're at. But outside of that, yeah, I'll just leave it at that, honestly, because the Mets at this stage that they're at right now, I don't think we should expect them to get into the playoffs. I'm going to be realistic of that. They're not getting to the wild card. They're not getting that wild card spot. But can they be realistically at 500? Depending on the next 10 games, I have my hopes up for that part at least. I have my hopes up for that part. But I could be wrong. I mean, as a Mets fan, I would love to see him at 500, but this is not one of those things that I'm expecting, basically. But realistically, we'll see what happens at that point. Honestly, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. If you have any comments about it, do you think the Mets will make it a 500 ball? Put it in the comment section. Do you think they won't make it? Do you think they'll make the wild card? If they, let's say, go in 20, let's say if the Mets only go 28 and 11, or better yet, let's say they go 29 and 29 and 10. No, 29 and no. 27 and 12, 28 and 11, 29 and 10, 28 and 9. 28 and 28 and 9. They suddenly go 28 and 9. Wait, I'm doing this all wrong, but you get what I'm saying basically. 27 and 12. Yeah, 20 if they go 29 and 10 or 30 and 8, 30 and 9, sorry, 30 and 9. They go 30 and 9. That would be massive, mad impressive. Yeah, you could tell I'm tired right now at this point because like My mind's not thinking. I should be doing this in the morning instead of late at night. But anyways, to the point. If the Mets can go 30-9, that would be the hottest team at that point. They could probably carry that over into the next season, but only time will tell. I don't know. There's not much else to say except like looking forward to hopefully the Giants season, New York Giants that is in football, and hopefully Jim Harbaugh changes the New York Giants culture. Daxton Dart, hopefully he develops into like another Lamar Jackson, basically, if he can be a superstar quarterback. And we have we have basically neighbors in place as well as Scadaboo. Who knows what happens there? And like, let's see what the defense happens. Let's see what happens with the defense because honestly, Carter, he disappointed. Hopefully, this season, this upcoming season, he it goes and exceeds beyond expectations. But with that, I'll leave it. I'll just leave it at that. So I diverged from talking about the Mets to the New York Giants, but I mean it's the only thing I think to look forward to because the Knicks are not going anywhere at this point because reality is like Phil. I mean, yes, you got Philadelphia, you got Boston still in the mix as well too. Those are two big teams. Cleveland's still a big team. And then Miami. I don't know how that works out, but it'll be interesting to see how both Bam Adebayo, and as well as Giannis works together at that point. But they will be up there. It'd be interesting to see what happens with that from perspective. And I don't even know what the Kawhi Leonard situation is. If everything works out and he's able to play with the Raptors, it might change the whole Toronto situation as well too. If he doesn't play, oh, then I mean Toronto's still decent enough, and then Detroit. You saw the weakness. We'll see what happens along the ways, but it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But again, I diverged. Going back to the Mets, let me know what you think. Oh, I should have put the numbers up here. I should have put them up here basically for you guys to see because like right there would have been perfect for you, like all the numbers and everything like that. But with that, I'm just too lazy to do that kind of stuff, anyways. But with that, I'll just leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, as always, unrehearsed. Until next time.